What are the 8 business strategies that a business people can apply in order to overcome such a crisis linked with a lockdown because of a coronavirus or other crises that can happen in your activity? From this point of view, we would have about 4 situations that we are going to talk about, and from these 4 situations we can discover about 8 business strategy in a time of lockdown. So from this point of view, we would have about 4 quadrants, or about 4 situations where we observe that the companies are facing. The first situation is a situation that I call the green situation. The second is red. The third is yellow, and the fourth is a real crisis that we need to know how to act. I decided and I discovered this situation because of 2 parameters. First parameter is horizontal one, which is describing the situation is linked with crisis or opportunity, because any crisis, any pandemic or any lockdown like this would generate also opportunities, not just crisis. And of course the second parameter, which is more vertical, horizontal parameter, is linked with the market. It depends how much market have you lost or have you gained in a crisis or in a lockdown like this. So from this point of view, from deriving from these 2 parameters, I discovered that we have 4 situations. As I said, the first is the situation of green situation, and here we have opportunity exploiters. We have about 11% of companies that even they have the green light to develop their business. It's a great opportunity for them to develop. This company are pharmacies or supermarkets or home delivery or telecommunication, IT companies. Most of these companies, for example, at the stock exchange market, they even have in the last time increased the value of their stocks. And because it's a really opportunity for this small group of company, which are called them opportunity exploiters. Other types of companies that I just discovered is in the red square, in the red quadrant, which I call them potential opportunists, which I discovered there are about 12% of them. These are farmers, international long distance transportation, household products, providers for companies in crisis, auto industry or other industrial factories, and so on. These companies have to apply red light strategy because they are isolated, they are in quarantine, and they have to develop crisis or opportunity development strategies that when the green light will come, they need to act. And the third category of companies, they are the majority. They are quite a big number of companies like this, about 37%. I call them companies threatened by crisis. So these companies still didn't lose the market, but they are very, very close to lose the market because of lockdown if they will not act properly. So here we have factories, different food industry, factories, furniture and furniture manufacturers, construction materials, education. Here we have schools and university, because school and university still didn't lose their students, they didn't lose their pupils or clients. But if they will not do anything, they will not rethink their strategies, opportunity strategy or crisis strategy, they could lose the market very soon. And the fourth category of people, I call them companies already in crisis, and unfortunately here we have about 40% of all companies. Here we have airline companies, cafe, restaurants, hotel, leisure, fitness and spa centers, oil companies, and tourist sectors. And here they really need to have a very serious crisis plan, because even 20% of all companies will fail. It means that half of this category, but half of this company that already in crisis, it's very highly likely that they will fail soon if they will not undertake any proper measures. So from this point of view, from this four situation that depends on the market and what kind of strategy they have to undertake, we will explain in the next few moments what are those eight strategies, business strategies, that could help you to overcome the lockdown times. And for the first category of companies, opportunity exploiters, they would have, of course, two types of strategy to develop. One strategy for the opportunity development and one strategy for the crisis plan. So this company had a huge opportunity. They have the green light to go forward because they have even the opportunity to develop their market, to increase their sales. And they have to assure the necessary staff and investments to assure the sanitary norms, because they could not lose or be closed because of some pandemic outbreaks in their companies, or providing with products and services because they have increase of sales, and they need to assure this chain of supply and develop new partnership. But of course, they also need to have a crisis plan. Of course, their crisis plan is different than the companies in crisis, but they also have to have a crisis plan. A crisis plan in case of finding an outbreak of infection in company or their town, creation of reserves, because they even now have the opportunity to create reserves, because nobody knows how long this lockdown will take place. Maybe to change their work schedule, and I think in the future all the companies, all types of companies need to rethink about their working schedule. And they have to work seriously on business digitalization, because in the future all businesses should be digitalized, and develop the online distribution. They have to develop already, even now, even they have offline sales for now. And of course ensure customer loyalty, because they don't know how much their clients will be loyal. The second group of companies, as I said, they are potential opportunists. They also have to develop two strategies. Strategy for opportunity development and a strategy for a crisis development or crisis plan. For the opportunity, they need also, as in the case of first group of companies, to digitalize their business, to think or develop or plan their online distribution development. Of course, they have to ensure their customer loyalty because they lost already part of their market, and develop PR activities by involving another type of social involvement, because they have more time for this now, because maybe half of the staff or part of the company or part of the activities are not activating, and they need to think about how to involve in the society and develop by this client loyalty and PR activities. Of course, they can develop also better direct sale promotion. They have time for training of their staff by online platforms, and to think about changing their work schedule. But of course, they need to have a very serious crisis plan in case of finding an outbreak or infection in their company, and dedicate part of their time for replanning and rebudgeting. And here I would like to recommend you Swiss Create Business Manager. This is a software that provides quite a lot of tools for planning, for monitoring, for management, for control, for leadership. And we use often these tools in our business development programs, in seminars, in consulting. And here I recommend you to use these tools for replanning your marketing strategy, to reshape and remodel your business model. Or you need to have a replanning or a budgeting for your budget or for your financial plans. We have this software has quite a lot of tools for financial planning, and I think it's time to think about replanning and about monitoring your finances. And of course, this crisis plan could contain partial orientation towards new products and customers, because maybe some of the products you'll not be able to sell in the lockdown or in the future. So the The third category of companies which need yellow light strategy, because these companies still don't know when the green light or the red light will come. These companies are really threatened by crisis, even they so far didn't lost part or all their market, and they need to develop opportunity development strategies, which is linked, of course, again with business digitalization, online distribution, or finding another distribution channel, exploit new product, services, and customers, because they're not sure anymore that they will sell the same products in the future. Ensure your loyalty and loyalty of existing customers, PR activities, and of course changing their work schedule from full-time, part-time, remote work. These companies can develop any kind of schedule because they still didn't lose the market, but they have to think about more flexible work schedule in the future. And because they are already threatened by crisis, they need to, this category of people, they need to, or business people, they need to develop crisis plan in case of finding of an outbreak of infection in their company or their town or your town. Ensure, of course, sanitary norms, and also be involved in replanning, remodeling, remarketing, rebudgeting, creating financial material reserves, because they still have the market. They can create reserves to be ready for the deeper crisis in case this will happen with their companies. Market loss, customer, and long-term quarantine risk management. So they have to have a real risk management, because they are followed by a serious crisis if they are not undertake any proper measures. And of course, for the fourth category of people, the strategy are more complex, because they're already in crisis, they're already in accident, and the part of the companies, they would have maybe not so serious accidents, or other companies would have very serious accidents. Some of the companies, they need to close the company because they have no solutions, and they have to know how professionally to pass through this bankruptcy, or how to overpass this crisis. So but of course, they would have also a very good opportunity to develop a new strategy in the future, or develop a development opportunity strategy linked to the replanning and budgeting, reorientation towards new products and services, exploration of any assets or exploiting of any assets in the company. For example, hotel companies can provide the catering services, or their staff, or their transportation they can use for other services, in order to keep some of the running costs for their companies, in order to assure some of the salaries for their employees. But they need also already to develop a new model, a new marketing strategy, and a new distribution strategy, in order to be sure that if they will overcome this lockdown, to be ready in the new context of post-pandemic time. And of course, digitalization of business and online distribution is already a big topic for this kind of companies. But the most important strategy for the companies that are already in crisis are, of course, a crisis plan, because they are already in crisis. They need to drastically reduce costs in order to save some of the assets of the company or the staff. Also, they need to declare technical unemployment and temporary secondment of employees to other companies that they need maybe temporarily them. They need to review their process totally. And of course, most of the states would assure or provide some of the help for their staff or for their company, that they will not to fail. And I'm very glad that most of the countries would provide such a help and subsidize the business in such a way. Or you can appeal to your banks if you have loans at your bank, and you can reschedule your loans. And most of the banks in most of the countries that are in lockdown, they already approved such an opportunity for their clients to restructure or reschedule their loans payment. Of course, changing the work schedule from distance and maybe half of this company, they will need a serious liquidation plan because they have no chance, they have a lot of loans, they have a lot of debts or unsuccess or other problems, and maybe it's time to liquidate your company if this is the case. But you need to do this professionally with not so much loss and to be effective for any kind of stakeholders. So in this way, I talk about 8 strategies in the time of 8 business strategies in the time of lockdowns. 4 of them linked with the business opportunity or developing opportunities even in crisis, and 4 of them are linked with how to solve the crisis, how to overcome this crisis that is quite new for the whole world and for the whole business community. And the most important thing that I want to tell you is that maybe this is a good strategy for your company, but the most important is to discuss them with your team, because in your team you can discover much better maybe strategies, of course deriving from this what I said, but please talk with your team, and with your team you can solve a lot of topics, and you can find one of this to find out where you are now. Maybe this model will help you, and to find out what is the best strategy for you to overcome this crisis. And I believe that if you'll discuss this, if you'll approach this professionally, for sure you'll have solutions and you will grow in your business. I wish you good luck and see you next time.